Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, March 9th, 2026. I am Dave Biddle. I'll be joined by Dan Rubin in just a moment. Spring ball kicks off tomorrow, my friends. 8:30 a.m. Bucknuts will be there in full force. First hour of practice, open to the media. Second hour of practice, not open to the media. That's when all the good stuff will happen. No, it'll be good seeing the guys. And then we're going to talk with head coach Ryan Day after practice around 11:30. So looking forward to that. It gets going tomorrow. And it's insane the amount of turnover. We knew it was happening, but it's going to be so weird to see 43 new scholarship players on the team. 43 new scholarship players. So you have 27 of the 28 true freshmen. The only true freshman that's going to enroll in June is Tucker Smith, the offensive lineman from Glendale, Arizona. And then they have 16 of the 17 transfers that are already here, that have been here since January. The lone exception being Vashawn Washington, a young man from Dartmouth, from Springfield, Ohio originally. So it's going to be 45 new players total, but 43 tomorrow alone. And Dan and I are going to talk about some of the guys we're most excited to see. I mean, I'm excited to see everybody. I kind of hate to single anybody out. And Dan had a really good idea too. Ohio State has, I'm not going to be breaking news here, has had so much success with the NFL draft, and that's always been a good recruiting tool. How much does that matter in today's day and age? I still think it matters a lot, even though kids, NIL has to be right. But I think as long as Ohio State, and sometimes Ohio State has to, maybe pay just as much as another school. But if a kid wants to come to Ohio State and they're at least in the ballpark, and that kid knows he's going to get developed at Ohio State because of the rich tradition here, okay. I think it makes a difference because NIL money is great. First round NFL money is better. Most cases. If you're Carson Beck, you're probably and compared to a late first round NFL draft pick, Carson Beck's probably making more money this past year, $4 million. Although if you're talking about even a late first round pick, I mean, they get their signing bonus guaranteed, 4 years of pay guaranteed. I mean, so even if you're a late first round pick, it's not just your salary. People were saying this year, like Travion Henderson was only making, X amount of dollars. It's like, well, and he was an early second round pick. It's like, well, he got a signing bonus of nearly $10 million. So yeah, I definitely think it matters. I'm curious what Dan thinks about that. It was his idea. Buckeyes having all this NFL draft success. Does that still translate to helping with recruiting? And if so, how much? I think that there's no doubt it helps. Does it still help as much as it used to? Is it at least almost as important as it used to be? I think it's at least almost as important as it used to be. So there you go. I started the show a couple minutes early because I have to get to an appointment. So I was like, I'll just get rolling here a few minutes early. Dan will be hopping on in a minute. He's going to be like, why'd you start early? I did text him, actually. And then I do want to get to the Arthur Smith impact. He calls himself Art. Had a chance to meet him this past Thursday. The stash is gone. I know I reported that on Friday's show. The stash is gone. I mean, nice guy. He doesn't carry himself like I'm coming in like I'm this former NFL head coach and I've been in the NFL. He doesn't, not like that at all. I mean, he's from a prominent family as well. Aside from what he's done, grandfather was part of the crew that started Waffle House. His dad started FedEx, and then everything he's done. But you wouldn't know it. Still a young dude. It's amazing. He's 43 years old, and he's been an NFL head coach for 3 years. He's been an NFL coordinator for 4 years, and he's still 43 years old. So curious. We're probably not going to get to see that many changes during the spring, but we'll see tweaks, and we'll talk to the players, and we'll talk to Ryan Day, and we'll talk to Arthur Smith himself, I'm sure, eventually. Art Smith. He goes by Art. I think we can go with that. Art Smith. Eventually we'll talk to Art Smith on the record this spring. Thursday's thing with the coaches, we had a little get-together with the beat and the new SID, and that was really cool. And Ross Bjork was there. Ryan Day was there. The assistant coaches were all there, and, in walked Art Smith, really nice guy, and I think he's going to have a big impact. And I'm curious how much we'll pick up this spring. Again, it won't be anything that's like we're going to know, oh, this is these are the exact changes they're going to make on offense. But we'll have a general idea of some of the tweaks from what we see. They all open up more practices during spring than they do during camp. They don't open up any during the season itself. We get some during camp, but spring they typically open up more practices than they do in camp. So we should get to see a decent amount. But we'll also, as I said, talk to Ryan Day, talk to other coaches like Art Smith himself, and some of his lieutenants on the offensive side of the ball. And we'll talk to the players. Like, what are some adjustments you can tell us about? And they're schooled well over there. They'll be told, do not tell the media that we're doing this, but like they'll be able to tell us some. So I'm really curious to get into that. Hopefully we have a Dan Rubin showing here soon. Still no Dan. It's only 1 minute after I told him to join, right on cue. Bam. Let's welcome in the publisher himself, Dan Rubin. Good to see you.
Good to see you. The sun is shining in Dayton, Dave.
It's beautiful. It was beautiful yesterday. I'm loving it. It was, because it's basically spring now. We have spring ball tomorrow. It was a brutal winter, and now we're having spring. I tell you what, it's insane that and we knew it was coming, but just all the years I've covered spring ball, and it's fun seeing like the turnover of the roster, the incoming freshmen, especially the last 10 years or so. Most of the freshmen come in early. In fact, it's weird now if you enroll in June. It used to be the other way around.
Sure. And
you'd have some transfers come in. That was always fun last few years. This year is completely different. 43 new faces. Scholarship guys alone. 43 new guys. And I said it at the jump. So 27 of the 28 recruits are already here. The lone exception being Tucker Smith, the offensive lineman from Glendale, Arizona. And then 16 of the 17 scholarship transfers are here. The lone exception being Deshaun Washington, the offensive lineman from Dartmouth, originally from Springfield. 43 new scholarship players out there tomorrow. We're going to talk about some of the guys we're most excited to see, but just that number alone is mind-blowing.
You know what it is, Dave? I was just thinking about this in the run-up today. We've talked about the professionalization of the sport of college football. This is it. This is basically your optional mini camp for veterans. You know what I'm saying? It's like optional. How's it optional? It's optional, meaning if you want to play, you'll be here. And if you don't, you won't. That's how it's become now. In terms of the football side of it, I kind of like it, having everybody here. Like you said, coming early used to be a thing. We're like, oh, he's going to miss the prom. Remember that? Like, yeah. It wasn't like, it didn't feel like a football preparation thing. It was like, let's get him on campus early, kind of get his feet wet. Maybe it'll get him a better chance to get a couple snaps as a freshman. Now it's like, we just wrote this dude a check, get his butt in here, and let's get rolling. So that's the truth of it. And I do think this class has more transfers. I mean, I could be speaking out of turn here. Being asked to come in and play major roles. And we kind of handpicked guys to do that in the past. You know what I'm saying? Almost like you knew there were 3 or 4 holes that needed to be filled and did it. This time, I think it's a little bit more across the board. I mean, you're almost having to replace your entire defensive line again. 2 years in a row. You're losing. I mean, anybody who has cable and has any interest in the draft knows you're losing pretty much with the top half of the top 10 picks in the draft. So those are some big holes to fill. But yeah, we always send a photographer out and be like, here's the freshman. Make sure you get us some good pictures. And now it's like, here's the pictures. Don't have a nervous breakdown. You know what I'm saying? So definitely changed. Glad we have.
I thought it wasn't even worth us.
Glad we have.
I thought it wasn't even worth us having like a separate photographer there, because we all can take pictures ourselves. We can use the USA Today pictures. Usually it's Adam Cairns from the Columbus Dispatch. They're in the USA Today, the Gannett family. So we can use, for those that a little peek behind the curtain for the listeners. So the pictures we use on Bucknuts, a lot of them we take ourselves. A lot of them we have a partnership with USA Today photos, so we can get the USA Today photos. But tomorrow is the exception to my rule. Not only are we having another photographer coming, separate photographer, other than myself and Pat and Steve. We're having 2. So Garrick's going to come. Garrick Hodge is going to be there in a photographer role, and Dan Harker's going to be there. Not Dan Rubin, Dan Harker. So we're going to have 5 guys there, boots on the ground. Yeah, and Dan, people have asked me, like, all right, all these guys, all these new guys, pick out one guy you're most excited to see. I'm like, come on. I'm not going to do that. Yes, I am. The one guy that I'm going to be looking to see, because I've been told he's just going to look different to you, and he does on film. You know where I'm going with this, is Legend Bay. That he just looks like he has a jetpack on him, and when he gets going, it's just different. Now, I can't wait to see it in person because I've never seen him in person. I've seen him on film, and I love him, and it feels like we're gassing him up a little bit. But, when Ryan Day, who chooses his words carefully, especially about true freshmen, he doesn't want to try to, like, build up true freshmen before they've played. He's out here saying, man, he's like a poor man's Tyreek Hill. Like, I'm really excited to see Legend Bay. That's my number one guy. Who's your number one guy, Dan?
I think you took the low-hanging fruit.
I'll admit Chris Henry Jr. was a possibility, or Sincere Johnson, or Sam Greer. Or
this is the new guy I want to see the most, or who do the guy I want to see the most?
Well, you want to see. I know you want to see Julian Sane. You want to see like a buff Julian Sane.
I do,
like
but
Arnold Classic or something. But no, yeah, of the new guys, who are you most excited to see?
Here's what I want to see: a Julian Sane, a little of this, a little of the neck part where you're like, is that guy on the football team? It's like you don't even need to ask. Like when I pulled on campus for the first time in 1989, and my friend leaned out the window and was like, "What position do you play?" And a guy wearing acid wash overall, shorts suit with no shirt, Scotty Graham. And it's like, you sure are. Good Lord.
Now the running backs coach at Washington.
I'll say Luke Fahey.
Yeah.
I'll say Luke Fahey because.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because I have a feeling Luke Fahey is going to be like that. You're going to get through all the guys, and everyone's going to be like, you know who else looked really good? Kind of surprised me? Luke Fahey. And they're going to have one of your receivers be like, you know who actually was, dotting me up? Luke Fahey. We are to the point at this program, and I mean this as a compliment, where if you're not sent from the heavens physically and chiseled and then like come down on a light beam, we're like, nah. Luke Fahey, keep in mind, Luke Fahey is going to be standing next to Tavian St. Clair for a lot of this, and they don't look like they're the same size as a smaller human. Like if you and I went out and threw, for example, if you and the great Patrick Murphy went out to throw, they would expect you to be the goal line quarterback. But Fahey, I'm told, is much better than people think, and that first of all, he was committed to Indiana, and everyone's like, man, that turned out to be a guy had a premonition. He knew better than us. So, yeah, Luke Fahey's the one I'd like to see. Also, because I do think in person, when you see the ball leave someone's hand, you get a good vibe on it. Ironically, the ball jumped out of Quinn Ewers' hand more than anyone I've ever seen, and that ended at some point. But his first practice, I remember being like, holy mackerel. But yeah, it's a kid to candy store thing. And I was going to say Legend Bay myself, and I had a little story to tell. It reminds me a little bit of the arrival of Dontre Wilson. I don't know if you remember that. It didn't turn out great, but Dontre was a later add in the class. No one had a great gauge on him. Zeke almost boogied because of it, by the way. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But I remember in those first few practices, it looked different. He was beating dudes deep. This is the first freshman year practices. And now it didn't materialize long term, but in terms of kind of showing off the hype early, Dontre Wilson's the last one I remember like that. You probably have a better sense of it. You've been to more practices. But
of the like running backs, yeah. I mean, JJ obviously had the most. Carnell had a lot of hype. And when I mean hype, I don't mean just coming in, people talking. I mean, everybody inside the program also saying it. Like, Carnell had a lot of hype, and rightfully so. He's going to be the first wide receiver off the board. He only caught 18 balls as a true freshman, though. That's why I say what people with expected Chris Henry Jr. to come in here and do. I don't think anybody expects him to do what JJ did as a true freshman. But I think people are hoping like somewhere close to that. I say let's pump the brakes because look how great Carnell was, right? Is 18 catches as a true freshman. Look how great Marvin Harrison was here. Didn't really play till the Rose Bowl. And he was ready to go. Had 3 touchdowns in the Rose Bowl, but didn't really play until then. So, and Chris Henry Jr. is going to play a lot, but just keep in mind, I mean, Carnell Tate, 18 receptions as a true freshman. Do I think Chris Henry Jr. is going to have more than 18? Yes. Do I think he's going to have anywhere near what JJ had as a true freshman? No, I think it's going to be somewhere in between there. So hopefully closer to what JJ had than Carnell had as a true freshman, but I've been telling people but I'm looking forward to seeing Chris Henry Jr. out there. He's jacked. He's telling people he's got up to I don't even know what. 220. I don't even know. 215. Geez, Sam Greer. These are some of the guys I wrote down. And some of these D linemen, man. Kari Wilder. I want to see Emmanuel Ruffin, because if Ruffin can come in, he's listed at 295 in his recruiting profile. If he can come in here and add a little depth at D tackle, that'd be big. Jay Timmons is a guy I jotted down.
Oh, yes.
Blaine Bradford. I'm looking, and I don't want to leave the transfers out either, like guys like Terry Moore that we love, but those are the true freshmen that I jotted down that I can't wait to see. And I want to get to I mentioned this at the top of the show. It's not going to be too long of a show today, friends, because I almost forgot I have a doctor's appointment, but we're not close to done yet. We're still going to go close to a half hour. Dan had a good idea. So for years, Ohio State, one of the many reasons they're really good at recruiting is they can just tell recruits, see this wall here? First round. Who had the most first round picks ever? We do. What about your position? This guy. We're cornerback you. We're linebacker you. We're wide receiver you. We're everything you. And it helps a lot in recruiting when these guys see first round pick. How much does it help these days, though? How much does it help these days when kids are looking for maybe the biggest bag and not necessarily trying to get developed? I think, Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you because it was definitely your question. I already told the listeners at the beginning. I think it still helps, maybe not as much as it used to, but it still helps because Ohio State's going to be competitive in NIL. And at least, I mean, most kids are going to realize, okay, if I'm at least in the same ballpark NIL-wise, I want to go to Ohio State because I'm going to be developed because they produce the most first-round picks. Does it help maybe as much as it used to? Probably not, but I still think it helps a lot. Your take.
Yeah, I'm really curious what the fans think. So definitely hop in on this one because
yeah.
And Mark, this started from a thing Mark Porter and I have always talked about. Like I have always been more of the guy who thought guys when came here to make the pros, because it was the same reason now it was where the money is, the amount of money you make, and people should go look at this. You're hearing a lot of, and I've heard this about the draft. 15 of one NFL guy's top 60 went back to college instead of coming out because they got the NIL. And that's fine. To me, the guys that Ohio State is going after, the elite of the elite, money is never an issue. It flattens out at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a slotted guy, so I think this is kind of a tiered argument. But I wonder, like the Devin Sanchez's of the world that we've always discussed, I think when it comes down to it, the money flattens out. Now, could Oregon or Texas Tech come in and give you an oil field or name a shoe after you? Sure. And that's like the trump card that you can get out of all this. But I used to really believe that Ohio State's like the wide receivers, you cannot convince me that it didn't just become a thing where it's like, dude, look, do you believe you can go there? And if you get through it, you because it wasn't just, Olave and Garrett Wilson and stuff. Terry McLaurin is a very rich man. You know what I mean? So that was also really important to it. That not just the 5-star guy, the 3.5, 4-star guy knows that if he can come and just gets through it, he's going to make it. Now with the amount of transfer portal stuff, there isn't that 4-year lineage window for these guys to do it. So that changes. I wonder, man. And look, and I also bring it up to be topical. What Ohio State is doing in the draft the last 2 years is truly epic. It really is. To send 14 dudes to the draft and then be told, whoa, next year's draft, probably kind of boring for you guys. And the year after, you think? Not at all. I mean, we know next year we're going to have Jeremiah Smith, and in my opinion, you're probably going to have a quarterback in the mix in the top 5. So that's going to change the narrative of that. Last year we had all those seniors go plus some other dudes and had just an epic number. To have 5 guys or 4 guys go in the top 10 is outlandish. It really is. Cue the guy who says now, why didn't we win the championship? You're that guy, if you're wondering. But I wonder, man. I wonder, coming. I wonder when it comes down to it, who. I'll also say this. I think now, whereas I used to be like, oh, he's coming here just to get the money in terms of the draft. Like now I'm like, no, that guy sees his future. He's actually an investor. And what I was going to say earlier is, yes, people are getting good NIL packages. Go look at what Arvell is going to sign for.
Right.
It would be a very good NIL package. Like you'd have to make him like assistant coach. And or it's like when they used to say, hey, why don't they just give Pat Riley a piece of the team? It's like that. So, and to me, the people who are focused on that, Arvell wouldn't even have been in this category because he wasn't as highly recruited. But like Sonny Styles, he's the perfect recruit if you really think about it. Literally, he's and I said this and we talked about this. He's the all-time box checker when it comes to checking boxes. He's, physical, history, everything up to that. Is that guy still coming here? I think for sure we're never going to lose out on Sonny Styles because he's a legacy. But I wonder if our ability to sell for the draft, which I thought was really the trump card in many of the decisions, I wonder if that's not lost. So that would be just disappointing, but we shall see. But I do think it's a big deal because that was their main selling point. It was come here, develop the best. You know what I'm saying? Now you can truth be told, look at the way David Bailey, the defensive end from Stanford, did it. Went and graduated from Stanford in 3 years, went to Texas Tech, cashed in. It's going to be a top draft pick. That road was not there for you in the past. So he's going to get paid just as much as Arvell. So I don't know, man. I throw it up to the group.
It's interesting, man. I'm going to go back to something you said that's completely on point. That they brought in 17 transfers. 16 of them are here so far. Again, Deshaun Washington from Dartmouth is the lone one that's not here. And most of the guys are coming in to fill, if not starting roles, most of them to fill starting roles. Terry Moore, Earl Little Jr., etc. Maybe James Smith. We'll see if he beats out Edric Houston or not. Maybe John Walker. We'll see if he beats out Will Smith Jr. or not. But either way, those guys are going to play a lot. Quay Russaw. I'm going to go through some of these guys, though, because there's also a few guys they got that are just depth pieces. Right. Deshaun Washington fits into that. He's a depth piece for sure. Kyle Parker, kind of in between, I think. Kyle Parker will play.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. And keep in mind, his new wide receivers coach is his old wide receivers coach.
He's pretty good.
So, yeah. And I know Cortez Hankton likes him. Yeah. And he's another guy that brings that different element, he's not that big, 5'11", 195, but fast, and they want to improve that team speed. So he's kind of in between. Dominic Kelly, I'll call him a depth piece for now, but he's got 3 years left.
He's a future piece, but he's good.
Yeah, Jacoby Jackson's going to be either RB2 or RB3, depending on what happens with. Well, Legend Bay's I kind of consider him his own position. He's not a true tailback. He's not going to be a wide receiver, but he's going to be in the running back room. But Jacoby Jackson, definitely a guy that's going to be, playing a key role. He's at least going to be, one of their top backup running backs. I'll go through just a few more here. Cam Calhoun, that's a depth piece, in my opinion. You can disagree if you'd like. Connor Hawkins, not a depth piece, starting kicker. Got him for 3 years. They brought in Justin Martin. He's a tall drink of water, 6'5", 230, and at quarterback, depth piece. The aforementioned Quay Russaw, not a depth piece. James Smith, not a depth piece. Hunter Welsing, not a depth piece. He'll basically be the fullback, I think. Terry Moore, I already mentioned him. Earl Little, definitely not depth pieces. John Walker, not a depth piece. Going to need him. Devin McEwen, not a depth piece.
Okay,
he's going to play a lot.
Let's talk about him.
Christian Allegro, not a depth piece. He's going to play. Dalton Riggs, Ryan Day called him the best long snapper in the country. He's not a depth piece. Mason Williams is the final one. He's not a depth piece. He's going to be in the running to be the starting tight end. Yeah, you want to go back and talk
Devin
about Mr. McEwen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Devin McEwen, I said this, I think we'll finish second on the team in receptions.
Woo!
That is, I was on record saying this. If you want to see an offense that gets after it, go watch University of Texas, San Antonio. That is like a breeding ground for the offensive masterminds types. They light it up, and he is a really good receiver. He's also, keep in mind, Parker and McEwen, they're older. Right. This is not their first rodeo. So they are ready to go in terms of production and stuff. And that's a different thing, when we talk about bringing in all those freshmen in the past. That was basically when the freshmen were, by far the bulk of the new guys. it was really just kind of a fashion show. You know what I'm saying? Most of those guys, no matter how, think back to it. How many true freshmen have really been legit contributors here? It's not as many as people think. It's very difficult to get them. I know we all know about JJ, so we think, like, it's very rare. It's like on the defensive line, I think Joey Bosa is the only one I've really see come in and start as a true freshman kind of thing. I mean, Devin Sanchez got plenty of playing time last year. It's highly regarded as anybody. He wasn't really a full-time starter. Maybe at the end you could argue it on snaps. It's very difficult to get on the field as a true freshman. And that's so different than what we're talking about with the transfers who are expected to step in and contribute right away, or there's going to be some issues. So a lot of challenges for the reporters out there, Dave. I feel like you guys can handle it.
Yeah, I think speaking of not your first rodeo, huh? Jeez, I don't even want to mention how many years I've been on the beat. It's north of 20 years, my friends. North of 20 years. Yeah, God, I shouldn't even say this.
Don't.
In exactly 1 month, I turned 50. I can't believe it. Exactly 1 month from today, assuming I make it, so that not 100%, but assuming I make it another month, I will turn 50 a month from today. But yeah, looking forward to practice beginning tomorrow. I would be remiss, as they say, if I didn't mention Bruce Thornton and Ohio State's basketball team. That was a huge win against Indiana. They dominated the game. Bruce becomes the all-time leading scorer. What a sweet way to do it. Right before halftime, he just buries that three. A sold-out shot, goes crazy. Absolutely love that. The Buckeyes are going to be dancing for the first time in 4 years. So kudos to Bruce Thornton and the basketball Buckeyes. Jake Diebler, it's now a moot point. I've been saying if they don't make the tournament, it's time to move on. It doesn't matter. I don't think they would have. I don't think Ross Bjork would have anyway if they barely missed the tournament. And I think that's the same thing you said, Dan. But it's a moot point now. Jake Diebler's coming back. I love it. Let's go Bucks.
It's cool to see also Thornton is like, you can tell he's got some juice. You know what I'm saying? His jump shot's a little better. Got a little more bounce in his step. His numbers are spectacular. He looks like a man among boys out there too. It's not like this is not some like just gifts for his age. You know what I'm saying? He's playing great. So that makes it more fun when a guy who's playing great is going through that. Look, man, he's the argument that the coaches will hold on to. I saw statistics. I mean, basketball you think football's changed people? Basketball, check this out. Senior day in the SEC, one guy in the SEC made it through all 4 years and graduated from the same school he started at. One guy. Think about that for a second. Senior day is toast. Bruce Thornton is so much the outlier that it is hard to even comprehend. You aren't going to get guys like that anymore. Bruce Thornton Ford, Bruce Thornton Diner, Bruce Thornton play-by-play. He's a man for life in Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything.
Nothing.
Forever. Bruce Thornton speeding through town, getting out of tickets. Bruce Thornton Arena. And that's the argument. If you stick it out in Columbus, if you stick it out and you become a man of the people, you're set for life, dude. You really are. This is one of those towns. And there are a lot of towns like this in the United States, great college towns, not as big as this one.
I want to say this.
Bruce Thornton Middle School.
You hit on something like, and the Cleveland Browns are the same way in Cleveland. Like, now Browns fans will be the first to tell you it's been tough sledding, but like that is a football town, and it's a good baseball town. It's a good basketball town. That's a football town. Like the Browns run that town. If they're ever good, look out. I mean, they were good a few years ago when they won a playoff game with Baker. But people ask me, how does Myles Garrett, how do the Cleveland police keep giving him speeding tickets? He's had 9 speeding tickets. I'm like, that's 9 in 7 years or maybe more. How many do you think he got out of?
Seriously.
I mean, seriously. I mean, and like,
I can't blame him though. Somewhat.
Sports cars, you're going 90. You don't even know it. It doesn't even feel. It's not like back in the day. Your dad's driving like a station wagon and it starts shaking if it's going like 65 or so. These new cars, it doesn't even have to be a sports car. These new cars, you can be going 90 accidentally. They're so smooth.
So I grew up in a family where my dad is the way I am about sports. My dad is about cars. So every disposable dollar he had was spent on fancy cars and fast cars. I'm talking, I don't want to brag, but so driving fast to the point where like, in the front seat, you're gripping the thing. I grew up like that, so I appreciate it on some level. I mean, come on, man. I want to give kudos to the person who started the thread. Did Myles Garrett actually go to Georgia? That's
right.
Clever. So whoever wrote that, I apologize for not getting your name out there, but give yourself a pat on the message board back right there for whoever said that. That was clever.
So yeah, my guess is he's probably been pulled over like 40 times for speeding, and 9 times he got the guy that's a stickler for the rules. No, maybe I'm exaggerating there.
I wouldn't give him a ticket. Sorry, I'm like
that. I would imagine there's been times a Browns fan that's a cop pulled him over and was like, "Okay, Mr. Garrett, just be careful next time." As long as he wasn't doing anything dangerous. If nobody's on the highway and you have a certain car, like it's really not that dangerous. This is why the thing called the Autobahn exists, and it's pretty damn safe. Now, if there's a lot of cars on the road and you're flying around, that is extremely dangerous. But if it's dry and nobody's on the highway, pretty much going 90 is not even that big of a deal. Anyway.
My dad has Autobahn stories. Put it that way.
Kids do as I say, not as I do. Okay, there we go.
That is so correct. Good Lord.
Good stuff, Dan. I appreciate it, man. Sorry to make this a little short and started a little early, but I got to get rolling. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to Dan. Thanks to all of you. Go Bucks.